AET is a statewide subscription that's provided by MailC, and we'll kind of get into the details for funding and how all of it will work. But the big thing we want to constantly stress is that the program is designed to be no expense to your local program. That doesn't mean no expense to your school. We're asking for school districts to match a third of the cost, which would be reimbursed through the levy. If that doesn't work, we have other options and ways to kind of help this. But big thing we want to stress is that it's no cost to your program if this is done correctly, and that we're here to support you with adoption. We're going to use this for a variety of tools for our membership rosters, our event registration systems. We'll no longer have a state survey that you have to submit. We'll collect all your data for here. This will help you with your Perkins reporting and the data that you need to submit there. You'll still need to submit those, but this will give you all the info that you need instead of you trying to figure it out on your own. And then over time, we hope that this will be helpful for SAE and FFA instruction, but please know that those are optional. We're not saying that you have to do AET for your classes, or you have to affiliate your program now because all students are entered into AET. You still have a lot of local control about what you do. But we're going to use this for some baseline things that should make your life really quite a bit easier. We broke these workshops up into small bites. We think today is probably 15 minutes of content and pretty easy to do. But we know that some people might have questions and need help with passwords and stuff, and that's really what today's for. And then we're recording all these. So if you're ever able to not make one for some reason, that's okay. We'll post the links later, and there's how-to guides. And so come as you can and as you need. And if you don't need it, don't feel like you need to show up. Or if you just want to see me and Lavin and Paul, that's okay too.
For sure. So today we're really going to talk about how to make sure that your chapter account is set up. If you need help getting into your account, like resetting passwords, just go ahead and send Dr. Sheehan or myself a email or a note in the chat if you're watching this live, and we can reset your passwords. So if you're able to log in, I'm going to use the association account, which looks a little different because we don't have students, but we're going to show you the basics of how to set up your chapter profile. And then next week, we're going to go into the details of the chapter or of the teacher profile. So the first one is if you go under the profile tab.
Yeah. You're a child, it's okay.
If you can go ahead and mute yourself, that would be great. So under the profile tab, you'll see the first 3 little boxes here that you can fill out. You might not know your numbers for 2020 or 2021, but if you want to go ahead and put in your total program enrollment, so Ag Ed enrollment unduplicated, that will just help us as we continue to move forward on some of that data collection stuff. So you can type that in and then everything automatically saves. We're going to start under the first column of about your program and number 1. And under here, you should find some basic information, your school name. So whatever your school should be addressed as can be there, and then your address. You can click if you're an affiliate program or not for FFA membership. You should see your region number there. If you ever see anything that has that wrong region, there are a couple that I've caught, and that just allows your region calendar to automatically show up on your chapter calendar. So it is useful. And then your ag department phone number, your school phone number, and if you happen to have a fax number, you can put that in. And then we are in the central time zone. So a lot of that should automatically be filled in, but feel free to make any edits, as this is where we pull all of the contact information for mailings and such. If you ever need to reset your password, you can go under your profile to password reset. I would recommend that you not leave your password as your chapter number, because it means anyone can log into your account. And yeah, just for security reasons, I'd recommend changing it. But if you ever need it reset, you can just reach out to state staff and we can reset it to your chapter number, and then you can log in and reset it.
And we'll show you how to do the password reset here when we're done with this. But if you've never used AET and no one at your school's ever done it, or chances are you've never changed it, your password is probably the same as your chapter number. So it'd be MN0217, just typing it again. We recommend changing it though. We don't want someone to go in and delete all your members on you.
And capitalization does matter, so make sure you capitalize the M and the N. And then the third tab under number 1 is the total ag-ed enrollment all the way back to 2010. If you know that data and you want to keep track of it, it is beneficial, I think, as a teacher to know some of that data to be able to back it up. If you need to show to your administration, for example, how you've grown the program since you started, that's an important thing that I would recommend filling out. What questions do you have about tab 1 under profile?
Lavin, I got a quick question. So it will pull for the 2020-21 school year, as all of our students get in there, the tab for total program enrollment will automatically fill in, correct?
I think you have to type that in. Do you have numbers under the other two?
No, I don't, but I mean, if we have all of our students in there, shouldn't it just pull from that?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm on another school that I know is using this right now and it doesn't show. I think it's something you might put in, but you could easily go to your accounts thing and see the number and then just type it real quick. Once your students are in. So you might not know your 2021 numbers until later when students are actually in it.
Okay.
And if you need me to pull back years, I can help with that. Like if you don't remember what your school was in 1819, I can see if you ever told us and tell you what you wrote.
Right. Well, and I guess that was going to be another question. Like the Mars data, right, would also have that. So I shouldn't have to go and print out all my class lists and sit there and count and cross off duplicates. I should be able to go get that. I would think that would also be turned into you guys, like what classes students were in and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's tough. This piece here is probably not as important for tracking the membership. I think this is for your records. We're going to pull the data from your student profiles.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's good to point out.
Can we just email Zane? We used to have to send all that to Joel to do our stuff.
Right.
If we just emailed him, he could just get it to us.
Yeah.
And our goal is to be able to use AET to stop having to do all those extra fun surveys that we send you.
Right.
That when you put all your students in, we're able to just look at your accounts and say, you have 113 accounts. That means you have 113 students. And then we can stop the duplication of all of those reports.
And I just if it can be possible through Zane, I think that'd be easier because we've had changeover of office staff. And I'm going to be lucky if she can find the last 3 years. I mean, I'm sure I can in an email, but I'd rather just check through you guys for seamless
this
transition.
is required right here. I think if you have it and you know it, please put it in. And if you don't, we'll collect that over time. It'd be helpful for us to know it, but please don't feel like you need to go back to 2010 and figure out what your enrollment was 2 teachers ago. I'll try to see what I can find from Mars data, and Paul and I will talk more on that though.
All right. Under number 2, as I said, we're going to look at the teacher profile next week, but make sure that all of your staff are here. So for example, if they're not, we can go ahead and click add a new person. And let's say that we're adding Dr. Sheehan to our account. And so now he's able to go in and clear or fill out all of these different tabs. We're going to look at those next week and know that AET is adding individual accounts for each teacher, but those are not accessible yet. So right now we just want to make sure all of the teachers are in there. If you have old teachers that are listed, please don't delete those. They are tied to student membership records and things like that. So just leave those there and just add any new staff members. I'm hoping that that gets cleared up with their new system, but for now, just leave those old teachers there.
They've said in the next 4 to 8 weeks, that'll be fixed. So we're just kind of in this weird period where you already see they have the user accounts and passwords set up. They just haven't flipped it on the login yet. So it's coming real quick.
All right, and we'll do the rest of that one next week. The other one we're going to look at is number 5. If you want to start setting up your courses that are taught at your school. So for example, if I am a teacher and I know that I am teaching a new course in 2020, 2021, you can just click new course. Let's say I am the teacher for that course, and I'll just set August or August 1st, I guess, as the start date and June 15th as the last date. Let's say that I'm going to teach a food chemistry class, so that's under food products. I can type in my course name and then just hit save. So then those will show up for students to be able to select those courses. So we would recommend that you go ahead and add all of the courses that you know that are being offered this year, assign those to the teachers that are teaching them, and then we're going to go into more details about those courses later. Any questions on courses? All
So
right.
the first couple of steps are just real basic. We want you to be able to get in, access the account. Feel free to play around, and if you're working ahead and you're like, I don't need to attend that week, you don't feel free that you don't need to hop in. There might be some random terms like under the teacher tab, Lavin, if you click on that. This is used across the country, so some other places use words that we don't use, like single subject credentials versus an ag specialist credential. We'll talk through some of those things next week. So there might be some things that you don't quite catch on. Like in Minnesota, we have combination licenses. You don't just have a horticulture license. That would be a designated specialist. So you might look through this and be like, I don't know what that means, but we'll help explain it. And in our schools, usually everyone is the advisor and the department head. So we know that there's a little kinks here and there that'll take us a bit to work out. But right now, we would just want you to get in, be able to add teachers, add your courses, so that as we move forward, you start to feel comfortable with it.
Question. So like I'm in on mine and I'm back at 2012 and then like 2013, 14. I just tried to add a year and I couldn't. Is there a reason? Okay, so I went there. And I did new course, but did I miss a spot on there?
So if you
I just want to know, how do I get that school year 2021, because I don't have that.
So if you type in the date, it automatically assigns it to a school year. So like if I go new course, and let's say I forgot one last year, I can just type in 2019.
Okay.
And it'll assign the school year.
Okay. Never mind. I was looking and okay, I went to type it in and maybe I typed it wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we've done the pilot a couple times. So Lavin set up a course in each of these years, but you're right. If we didn't have anything in there, it would not show a year.
Okay. And then if you put the last day, do you want it if it's just a semester course, or should we put like the last day, like the end of the school year?
I think you probably want to put the semester day, because your students, like your second semester students, then you don't want them to accidentally pick the wrong, if you had animal science both semesters, they might accidentally enroll in the wrong class.
Nope, and that's why I'm asking, so I know. Okay, all right, nope, thank you. That's
excellent. Other questions? All right, well, that's all we have for today. We knew it was going to be super short, but like I said, if you have any troubles getting logged in or setting up your teachers, adding those to your accounts, or setting up courses, just let us know. Otherwise, next week, we're going to tackle our teacher profile. And as we said, we're going to share these. We'll be sending out a recording shortly, and you can watch them anytime that you need them. So thanks for joining me.
I'll walk us through resetting passwords. So if I'm going to take control of the screen share, that's okay. So here is when if you're not logged in at all, or if you just go to AET for the first time, you would hit log in. And Rada, me, any of the staff can reset passwords. Julia, we all can do this. But if you'd like to try it yourself, students will log in here. You would go here and hit forgot password. And you would enter Minnesota. And then what's someone's chapter number?
MN 0151.
0151. So then judging card and AET are linked. This is what we'll use for event registration. We already use it for some of our CDEs. It's saying that Miss Tim is the teacher on file. And if we reset password, it's going to send it to your address. If it's something that isn't here and it's like an old teacher or an email address you don't have access to, shoot one of us a note and we can manually submit it, but you're able to do it yourself if this info looks right. I don't remember what houses it is, but if, Paul, what's your chapter number? Or someone that has 2 teachers.
0213.
So there's 2 instructors here. If it was just Paul forgetting, he could unclick Steve and hit submit, and then it would only send it, only reset Paul's password, if that makes sense. So you can try that first, or if it's giving you trouble or you don't want to try it, just shoot us a note and we'll help you. We recommend changing it once you're in it, because I'm guessing I could like try a random chapter right now and it would probably take me into their, yeah. So like I just hacked into a chapter. So we know we want to fix it.
If you're a new a new teacher that isn't in the account, just let one of us know and we'll get them reset. Any other questions?
As we're reading through things, are there things people it doesn't have to be related to just the teacher or the chapter profile either. General questions you have about AET, about adopting it, concerns, thoughts, happy things.
I need to check the banner. I don't know how much it's for yet. We're on trying to call you, but.
Okay, well, I think that was appropriate teacher wait time. But, if not, feel free to send us an email and tell us how you're feeling about it. We know that there's probably going to be small hiccups along the way, but really the goal of this is to take work off your plate. I'm excited for when you register for convention and you just type in the kid's name and it pulls all the stuff over and you don't have to look up anything. We think that'll make life a lot better. So it's going to take us a bit, but overall, more than half of our schools are using AET already. Based on the data that AET gave us. So we think that this will be more useful than it probably will be slight hiccups along the way. But if there are things that are hard, please tell us and we'll be happy to reach out and give you the things. And we can add more topics if we need or provide more support.
And the only communication that our districts are going to get is what we're going to give them, or is there something that's going to come from MDE directly to the districts?
That's a good question. How would you all prefer to handle that? Would you rather walk down? Do you want me to email business managers? And I can do principals, superintendents. I'd like some guidance from you all, because I know I preferred when stuff went through me versus my principal telling me. So I'm happy to, but I want input from you.
I didn't know if this was something maybe we were going to talk about during business meeting or something tomorrow, because I know I'm kind of on the fence. I got a new super. So, I mean, my principal understands, I would think, with a lot of it, but I was just curious what everybody else was thinking.
I would think that coming from you, and if you can email administration, I mean, you can always just send, whether it's the letter that you've already sent to us or whatever, just say, hey, I'm sending this to everybody's administration. So that gives us a heads up so that then when they come and ask us, what is this, we know what it is. But I think coming from directly from MDE is going to be more effective for most, not all, but for most, than us walking it down there.
Okay. We can do that. I have, so business managers and your site principal, probably not super.
Yeah, I would say that'd probably be good.
I'd say that's fair. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe if everyone's okay, I'll wait another week or so before sending that, just so that you guys have had time to review it. I don't want to.
And they'd actually have time to probably read through it better and like get them off of their vacation time and stuff. But before we find out what's all coming from MD for fall instruction.
To be fair, I don't totally know yet. So
no, but I'm just thinking maybe in these next couple weeks they'd actually have time to read the stuff and maybe be well informed, so that we can maybe have a nice informed discussion with them.
Okay. I guess closing messages would be like we said, it's designed to be no cost to your programs. We don't want this to be something you're paying for. And if you find yourself in that situation, please reach out, because we can help you. Either a lot of schools don't levy everything. They don't know that they can. We can alleviate that. Some schools choose not to, and that's good for us to know, because then we can do other ways of doing it. So we'll figure it out. And then This isn't mandatory for SAE and FFA instruction. You don't have to implement this in your classes. I think it might be valuable. But please know we are using it for FFA membership. We won't do it through FFA.org anymore. This will be how we do our event registrations. It's how we collect data. So we don't want to come across as if it's mandatory, because we're not forcing you to use it in your curriculum, but it is how Team Ag Ed is going to do a lot of things from now on. So we'll need to find ways to use it for the things that we have decided are kind of all or nothing already. But as you run into barriers, please let us know how we can help you. So the goal is this is easier, not more work. And a couple of people had questions like, do I put all my students in? Do I just put FFA? Does this mean we're affiliated? The goal is that all of your students create a profile. Ideally, that works best if you're using it as an instructional tool. It's easier to explain, like, we're using this as our record book too. But the goal would be all of your Ag Ed students, not just the FFA students, because otherwise we can't do program data if it's just the FFA members. So we'll talk through student profiles, but it's not very much. And it does create some useful things. You can do career exploration in it. You can do SAE Explorer. It can make a resume. So Paul might decide I'm going to use it in my classroom just to make a resume, and that's all we're going to do, while, you know, Miss Arsvold at Wilmer might decide that she's going to use it for SAE because she grades SAE in her classes. So it's kind of what you find value in, but all of us are going to use it a little bit no matter what.
All right, well, we'll stick around for a little while if you have individual questions. I know I got a couple messages for password resets. So continue sending those our way if you're not able to reset your own password. And otherwise, we will see you next week when we talk about teacher profiles. Thanks, everyone.
Tab of getting your teachers info set up.
Yep.